Hello and welcome yet again to this new year, this brand new year, Fat Talks, courtesy of Fidelis Leadership Institute. My name is Lynn Komjisha and I welcome you to the new year, but most importantly, to our very first Fat Talks of the year. And we kickstart with very interesting conversations because it is something that we need to do as Fat Talks. Fat Talks, we talk about issues that elevate us to better people, taking in the fact that we are faithful, available, and teachable. And that is what Fat Talks is all about. And so we get to sit, we get to conversate. I borrowed that word. I've never understood what it means, but most people like using it. And it seems to make sense to some people. So today we are going to speak about a very interesting topic, most importantly, because everybody at the new year was like, I have my resolutions. I saw people in church with a whole list. Others had written and said, New Year, new me things. I'm like, guys, I mean, every year you do New Year, new me. For how long are you going to do that? But today, I want us to stay focused. I want us to stay on the fact that we are faithful, available, and teachable. And that means that we are talking issues of mindful productivity. And mindful productivity is not just a word. Our guest is going to remind you that it is not about the academics of mindful productivity. It is about being intentional and doing things the right way. So if you've just joined us on our Twitter spaces or X spaces now, I thank you so much. Go to Fidelis Leadership Institute. You will find us there and join in. But before I can introduce our guest for the day, allow us remind you that Fidelis Leadership Institute, we are still doing the FAT Leadership Fellowship. And of course, applications, we're calling for applications for our third cohort, that's 2nd February this year. If you want more information, you just go to our website, and that is www.fidelis /institute.org. And that is Fidelis Leadership Institute on our website. You get all the details of the email, of the phone numbers, and the rest that you might need. So we are looking at raising leaders that are faithful to their values, available to serve their communities. Just apply. Away from the FAT Leadership Fellowship, we also have a very exciting one that is coming up at the Fidelis Leadership Institute, and that is going to happen next week. It is the Children's Leadership Training. Guys, your children are on holiday. Some of you are struggling with what to do for them. Some of you do not even know how to deal with the children. You just leave them for the maids and the house managers. But there's a lot you could do for them and help them achieve. Now, the Children's Leadership Training is happening on the 18th of January, and that is next Thursday, ages 7 to 13 years, and then from 13 to 18. That is what we have. So join us, come, and I'm going to still go to our website for more information. We have limited slots available. Just get your 50K, okay? Pay for that child. Trust me, they will not leave that space the same, because at Fidelis Leadership Institute, we are focused on raising the next faithful, available, teachable generation that you'll be proud of. And I could go on, I'll be telling you more about that because we have very interesting partners in regard to that. Now, back to the issue and to the business at hand, and that is the FAT Talks today. Sitting with me today is a lady that most of you have seen, by the way. She's part of FLI, and we get to do a lot of Fidelis Leadership Institute things with her. But apart from that, she's something else. She's not just a coach. She's not just a lawyer. Yes, an advocate of the law. She's a mentor. She's also a consultant. And her name is Mariam Nanza Yiga. I like her middle name, and I'm yet to find out. I've never asked her what it means, but Nanza, pleased to have you today.
Thank you, Lynn. Good evening, viewers and listeners. Welcome to that.
How do you feel about our very first Fat Talks today?
I'm feeling very fat in the real sense because, like, we were speaking of air. People have said, and I confirm, that it doesn't feel like a normal January.
Yes.
Yeah, so it looks like we're in for an interesting 2024.
I thought I was the only one feeling it.
Yes, so I'm open to receiving and seeing things this year.
Right. Please, viewers of our SPAC 24, we're glad that you joined us from wherever you are across the East African region and Africa and maybe the world at large. We're all excited for NAM and G77, and Uganda now there's a spotlight on Uganda, and we want to be focused on us as we start the year. People in Nyanza often set goals. I'm sure you've set goals as well. But my question right now is, because oftentimes midway the year, people say, guess what? We cannot, I don't know, I lost track of my resolutions. And for us at Fast Talks, I want to believe that we're saying, can we be more focused? Can we be, it's not about the resolutions, is it?
No, it isn't.
Let me ask. So the question here is, as we get into the new year, what should we be focused on? Is it the same old story, the resolutions? Is it the same old story of new year, new me? Is it the same old, what should we be focused on?
Thank you very much, Lynn. And I'm glad that the topic speaks for itself. It says mindful productivity. The operative word being mindful will take us ourselves back to the last year, but also not just the last year, being a post-COVID year. Effectively, 2023 was the first year kind of got back to not what was normal, but a new normal.
Yeah.
But also before that, in COVID, we had a lot of new self-discoveries happening at a personal level, at a professional level, and at a corporate level. The family unit discovered things about itself that it didn't know.
Right.
Individuals discovered things about themselves that they didn't know. So everybody comes out of COVID with a different understanding of who they were before COVID.
Okay.
Some of us took on gigs. So 2023 now became a gig economy. Then we took on, we discovered talents and giftings that we have. Others, we are being forced into shouldering more responsibility because of the unfortunate circumstances of job loss, of becoming household leaders inevitably. So this whole mindfulness, last year we were really catching straws, so to speak, because everybody was waking up to this new era that we've never lived before, with new knowledge, lots of it, I must say, especially in the era of social media, and an urgency, so to speak. There was a general sense of urgency to do something, be something, as though to catch up. Therefore, this conversation on mindful productivity couldn't come at a better time, right after COVID, when we are stabilizing, so to speak, in a new normal. Why this is important is because we have to keep it true to ourselves, irrespective of the new knowledge and new challenges that we found either at the unit of a family or individual or corporate or even as a nation. The principles remain, the basics remain. The principles of productivity and efficiency remain. It comes down to understanding what a healthy balance is for you based on goals. You talked about resolutions, and productivity and resolutions work in tandem. If we are not mindful and we just amass goals, the same thing we want to do now becomes the same thing that paralyzes us. You get overwhelmed instead. So mindfulness means being fully aware of your why, in my opinion, why you set out to do that.
Being fully aware of your why.
Your why.
I want you to just pause a little bit. When you say fully aware of your why, first of all, do people actually identify their whys and really know this is my why, because Nanza, you might know, I might know, but I want the viewer and the listener out there to understand, why is the why very important?
Thank you, Lynn. The why is very important because first and foremost, it gives you the clarity for your goal. If you don't know the why, they say when you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there, but you'll end up going nowhere. So knowing where you're going and why you're going there now becomes the fuel, because anything you achieve is very challenging. From the smallest task of, even if you're a stay-home mom, to the biggest one, if you're a CEO in some Fortune 500 company, it's challenging. So if you don't have the motivation in the why, then you wake up wondering, what is it I have to do? Then you get into a compliance mode. You just do things to get by. And at the end of the day, it's not sustainable.
Right.
There is burnout, there is getting worn out. But this is what I wanted to add. In the mindfulness, it is about knowing what is your priority for that season. We talk about work-life balance. We talk about the balancing act. These days we have a lot of self-care. It's a scale. It's a scale. It's easy to tip over to too much self-care that you're not productive at all, or too productive that you ignore yourself.
Yeah.
So if you ask me what is a healthy balance, I will borrow what I would think is my best definition of balance from a lady I really admire. She's called Priscilla Shire. She talks about a balance, especially in motherhood, but it can work across any field, whether you're a CEO or you're just a young leader trying to balance school and life, or you're a hustler trying to handle many gigs. Is knowing what your priority is for that season. It's not all about having 10 balls in the air and juggling. You're not a magician like the guys at the circus. It's about knowing which of these 10 do I need to bring for the set at this stage, in the center stage.
Right.
When you bring it to the forefront, give it your 100%, and then you juggle it back until another priority comes with, not trying to keep everything afloat, because you have limitations as a human being. So that is where awareness comes in. For this season, what are my 1, 2, 3s? Not that the 4, 5 don't matter, but get this done very well, having at the back of your mind that 5, 6 exist, and then keep juggling them around, not trying to balance everything at hand.
You know, the other day when you talk about juggling things, I was listening to some very wonderful speakers, and they say that lately, you know, we're good at multitasking, and you want to juggle a lot of things at once, and you think you're going to be good at it. But they said that the latest multitasking is actually focus.
Focus is the new multitasking.
Is the new multitasking.
Nice.
So you focus your energies on something you know is going to be productive, and you do not, because if you multitask, chances are you might lose on all those things. And as they try to explain, it sort of made sense, because if you need to focus as a human being, then you need to, as you draw your resolutions, or as you draw your whys, as you put it, you need to focus. I'm not saying that you don't focus on all those 1, 2, 3, I don't know how many. You can focus without necessarily losing balance. Like you said, it could tip. Yeah. So, Nanza, as I plan my whys, as I focus on my mindful productivity, informing my why might need some sort of strategies to apply. What would you say is the best way to approach my mindful productivity? So if I'm being mindful in whatever I'm doing, what do I need to focus on? Is it my health? What do I do with that? If that is, I have work, I have a lot of things. What strategies do I need to apply?
That's a very simple question, but the answer is not that easy.
Okay.
Because when we talk strategy, allow me to say that strategy is a luxury, so to speak, to some people. Yes, we have to bear in mind that people find themselves choosing what they're choosing or not choosing what they ought to choose because of the circumstances. Yeah. So the first step is to have an authentic audit of where you are. We are in an era where people have I want to call it MPD, not the psychology term, but we have a Facebook face.
This lady has a number of abbreviations for almost everything.
So we have we live in a multi-person dispensation where you have a Facebook persona, you have a work persona, you have a wifey persona, and you live in the juggle of all those people.
Right.
So the first thing I think is an authentic audit, and I want to be very honest with you that that's one thing that has led me to my most peaceful year thus far, which was 2023, because I sat with myself. You see, you were trying to introduce me, and for a while you can't even place me in a box. You kept saying mentor, lawyer, coach.
Yeah.
Because I think I am a reformed multitasker. If there's such a thing, yes, let me tell on myself. At a certain stage and a season, I was just amassing info and knowledge and qualifications and aspirations. And sometimes we need to just be careful what we ask for, because God will definitely answer those prayers.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with your blessings until the blessings become a burden. So to answer your question on strategy, again, once you have an authentic audit of where you are, it helps you understand where you are going, because you now know where to put your best energy, best resources. The resources we have are time, talent, and treasure. If you know where you're going, you know what you spend your time on, where you're going to put your talent on, and your treasure could be finances or any other thing.
Time,
talent, and treasure.
Very important things. Very important. Those of you who are joining us, we are talking mindful productivity, and she just ended on three interesting T's: time, treasure, and
time, talent, and treasure.
Time, talent, and treasure. And I'm sorry to have cut you short for that, but I needed us to pause a little bit and understand the 3 T's now that we are focusing on as Fast Talks here. Go on. So we have 3 T's. So we are focusing on our time, talent, and treasure, and we know, and we want to know how to make them useful to us.
Okay, thank you once again. So to be able to know where you're spending, because just like in accounting or anything, the outcome is determined the minute you do the input. So where are you putting now? Because if you put your time in work only, then maybe your talent will go to waste. You'll be a CEO who always said, I wanted to do a cooking class, I wanted to do a daycare. So you will have the money but be unsatisfied. So time, talent, and treasure now then be spread across what you value most. What is your value? We have family, we have faith, we have finances, we have friends. And all those 5 now become like the processing system. It's like that bakery for which your time, treasure, and talent now give you a dividend. Absolutely. Which is either efficiency or happiness or health or restfulness, so that you can maintain a vitality throughout the year. So if you get your time, talent, and treasure and dump it in one area of the family, friends, finances, and all your faith. I'm trading very gingerly in an area where everybody wants to go to church or some kind of faith thing.
Yeah.
We've since learned that even the people we follow in whether Christianity, all were working people, be they the prophets, be they the disciples, everybody had a trade, I think. So how we use the time, talent, and treasure then in these 5 spaces becomes what becomes the reward at the end. I go back to the issue of not having it oversimplified for all of us. Some people have talent, but they have to work. They have to work and put the talent on hold in the bid to survive, which is a reality for many, especially young people, old people, post-COVID.
Actually, some people going to work and forget they have talent.
That day. Yeah. Yet we also forget that the talent is when you do something you're passionate about, it gives you some rare kind of fuel, some energizing to go and be a better, whether person at work or you're a business leader. So the goal again is to find a healthy balance.
Absolutely.
But the mindfulness means it is unique to you and the season you're in. I can't emphasize that enough, because what you were mindful of 3 years ago is different from what you are now.
You actually mentioned a very interesting thing. Again, I was going through some of the people I follow, and one of them is Mr. Tony Otoa, and he says work. He was quoting somebody as well, and it caught my attention. He says, "Work is what you enjoy doing." Guys, we need to redefine work. It just hit me that you need to redefine work, because in as much as you're focusing on your work, redefine what work is for you. And it says work is what you enjoy doing. A job is where you will clock in and you will retire from it. It hits so hard that whereas we keep saying work, I'm going to work, but are you enjoying that work? Most people saying, I'm going to work to just manage to get the money at the end of the month, which means they're not enjoying. But if you are focusing on a job, remember that is a job you clock in and you retire from, then you become so focused on what you need to put your energies into. Now, Nans, as you said, you mentioned some F's somewhere.
Family, faith, friends, finances.
What are those? Okay, we know. We know. Certainly we know. But what are those? Well, how am I supposed to group them? In what form and why?
I really don't want us to overcomplicate this and be hung up on groupings and 3Fs and 5Ds. No. What we just want to understand that because we all have time, talent, and treasure, where we spend it, look at it as money in your wallet. Where you spend it becomes the bakery. I'm a chef on the side. So I think everything in terms of food, what you put in, when you put it in, matters. I keep joking with my kids and my family that I can tell at what stage they put which ingredient based on the outcome.
Yes,
you can know when the garlic was put, at what point. If the child skips a spice and puts it when the stew is ready, you'll taste the rawness. So this time, talent, and treasure, when you know the season you're in, you kind of understand the combo of where I should be putting what. We have this even in parenting. Where we have a phase where we know that if we don't put this into my child right now, you blink and they're gone. Look at us, it's already 11th January. Just the other day we were blowing fireworks.
I know.
But also for you to say that I'm just focusing on the parenting phase and you forget the talent, your giftings and callings. True as it is, when these kids go, you'll be an empty nester. We spoke about it with somebody when we spoke about finances on this very show. So if you spend your first 30 years investing in kids alone and you forget to build the friends, they will go with lots of love and everything you put in them. And then you'll be that clingy parent or that bored housewife or that sad human being. So the mindfulness is knowing that in this season, while I am a mother, I have to leave maybe 80% for parenting and 20% for discovering or growing my talent or whatever it is that I'm gifted at. And on and on and on. You keep dividing that. But when we go back to the issue of when you said, I still want to speak to the people who are feeling overwhelmed at the beginning of the year, that they don't have a choice. Either it is talent, or work, or you know what I mean? For those listeners out there who feel overwhelmed by lack of choice, lack of options, it's totally understandable. Two things I would say to them. One, don't give up completely the fact that you can find a healthy balance between what brings bread and butter and what fuels you as a person. If you acknowledge that bread and butter can be sustained to the degree that you are sustained as an individual, then you will decide, if not now, keep the dream on the radar. And remember, starting small is better than not starting. If you have, and I don't even want to use music because it's really been overrated as an extra fuel. Everybody wants to sing, but there are other things, other arts, other sciences, other giftings. Find ways to incorporate that. If you don't have the luxury of an 8 to 5 job, use them on the job where you are.
Wow, hold that. Hold that
Exactly
thought.
where you are.
Hold that thought, Nanza. We're going to take a break here at Smart 24, and we urge you to join our spaces at Fast Talks, that is an X spaces. Join us as well as on Fidelis Leadership Institute and be part of this conversation. And she's talking about what people call the side hustle.
Side hustle, oh yes.
I want you to hold that thought. Let's take a break. We'll return with more conversations here with Nanza, and we're looking at mindful productivity. Thank you for joining us here on Smart 24 and, of course, our Twitter spaces. We'll be right back.
Smart 24, driving business.
Luxury redefined at Seasand Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy, exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full-course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brew age. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasand Hotel. So visit today at Plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasand Hotels, luxury redefined.
Smart 24, driving business.
And of course, Fat Talks, it comes your way every Thursday at 4 p.m. And we are speaking very interesting we're having very interesting conversation. Sorry about that network issues. But if you've just joined us, go to Fat Talks. Now, Fat Talks is on Twitter, and it is Fat Talks one, yes. So go follow us, also be part of this conversation on X Spaces. Sorry, keep calling it Twitter. And we are looking at mindful productivity, balancing efficiency and well-being in this year 2024. My host, or rather my guest today, I beg your pardon, my guest today is none other than Nanza Mariam. And we are trying to understand how you and I can best be productive, but mindfully. Yeah, you can be productive, okay? But there's that thing called being mindful with your productivity and making sure that it actually works for you. and makes sense for you. So we are Fidelis Leadership Institute, and we're going to carry out this year. We have quite a number of activities. You should join us and be part of the activities we have. I'm really excited about one particular activity that is coming this month, particularly this month, and that is the Teens Leadership Training. We have the children's leadership training happening the same day, but also the teens leadership training. And this is between 14 and 18 years, just 50K. It's just a day. A day you have your children participating in a lot of activities, learning a lot of interesting things. We're going to talk about empowering tomorrow's leaders today. And your children, I'm sure most of you have seen how excited they are about very different things. And you need to empower them. And guess what? We are here to help you do that. But we're also calling on our third cohort for the FAT Leadership Fellowship, and that will start in February. You need to join it, and we have very interesting tutors. We have very interesting conversations. By the way, it's not just going to class. It's not our usual class of sitting and doing all of, no. It's an interactive sort of class, and we're creating ethical leaders for tomorrow. So we go back to mindful productivity. Before we took a break, Nanza was talking about these side hustles and why they're important. And you and I know that the 3 T's, she doesn't want us to complicate things, but it made sense. If you have talent, you've got to focus on it as well. But you've also got to look at how that can complement your perhaps 8 to 5 job. Nanza, please proceed from where I was stopped.
Thank you, Lynn. When we took a break, we were talking about, again, the people who have no luxury of choosing.
Yes.
Because they have to work to live. Mm-hmm. And we left off at a point where we were encouraging even those who in this season, again, mindful of the season, that this is not where I will be, or this is not how things will always be. Mm-hmm. You are at a job where you barely have time off, or you spend 15 out of the 24 hours. Yes. You have commuter time that is almost 2 hours in a day. Yes. This is the people that need to actually be extra mindful, because those are the jobs where you're likely to suffer burnout, where you're likely to put your talent on hold. So when we left off, we were encouraging and recommending to those, and even others who find themselves a bit stuck and keep procrastinating on the balance. Start where you are. Don't say, let me work when I'm 28, I'll retire. It's not a practical goal, because we know that in this economy and how things are working, people even work up to 50 and 60. And we all know how hard it is to start something at 50. Sure. So I would like to recommend that you start small, where you are. If you do the 8 to 5 and your interest, I'll use a very interesting example. I have a sibling who is in the banking industry, and she's also in the banking industry, but in a department that is very hectic. Like you barely have time to breathe. It's delicate, it's fragile. You blink and crowd hits you and all that. So what she has done, and I don't know if it was intentional, she loves music. It's what feeds her. It may not be a side hustle now, but she has carried that mindfulness of music is what gives me my fuel. She has made it known at work. Everyone knows her. She's the girl to go to for playlists. Wow. While she's serving others through playlists. Wow. She's serving herself. So much so that one day I saw her resume. She was going somewhere. And after writing all her academic credentials, at the end they said, I'm just giving a title. Maybe she's the manager with the baddest playlist.
No.
It's on her CV.
No.
And then on top of that, every end of year, guess who's chairing the welfare committee?
She's the girl. She's
the girl to go to, because she has managed. She's not waited to see when I retire and I go to the Bahamas.
Then I'll enjoy it.
And banking is very hectic, but she has found a balance that leaves her to be productive while serving them in a situation like that, and also serving her passion. We don't know if one day she's even, the way things are going, there's a cost for everything. Maybe when she has the means, she might even do a DJing course. Then she'll be a DJ at 50 out of passion.
Maybe she could even start earning from that.
Exactly. But while the money comes, her fuel tank is not empty. That is what we are saying. The mindful productivity is starting right where you are.
Absolutely.
Not to put aside and say, when I get to 50 or when I have X amount of money in the bank. And if we understand the principle, because it's all about principle, it may not be that the efficiency is to make your employer happy. It is one thing that reinforces each other. The more you are fulfilled as a person, the more productive you are. The more productive you are, the better you hit your targets. The better you hit your targets, the more you get noticed. The more you get noticed, the promotion. Then you have more money, more margin, more time. It's really a cautious cycle of self-improvement.
A cautious cycle of self-improvement. But before that, you did mention the example you gave us of your sister. You don't know if it was intentional. Now, that comes to mind. The intentionality of our whys.
Yes, back to the why.
Back to the whys. Why should we be intentional? And then there's another issue that we want to talk about. The gratitude, the issue of gratitude being, because everybody's talking about gratitude. This year is for gratitude. Nanza, I don't know if you've encountered that, and why we ought to be why we ought to be grateful for the far we've come and for what we are doing and maybe yet to do. But most importantly, the intentionality of our whys.
I see where you're coming with the gratitude. That if you come from a school of thought of the glass is half full, you look at it as a blessing. This is not supposed to be a show for preaching.
No, we're not preaching.
But we can't help. We can't help but acknowledge.
Yes.
But when you see the glass as half full, first of all, it starts with you. It kind of tweaks your brain. There is no way you can be grateful and sulky. Just the psychology of gratitude is such that the minute you choose the gratitude route, your demeanor changes. Yes. You become a better team member, you become a better parent, you don't see your blessings as burdens.
Yes.
What that does, again, reinforces your energy. If you look at your kids and you're like, wow, I'm blessed to have these children, I am blessed to have this desk, I am blessed to serve in this organization. It does something to your psychology. Then you show up as a full person. The joke is you don't have to look like your hustle, but I think it comes down to how we see things. Two people can have the same job, and one is full of gratitude and the other is full of just not in it. It doesn't matter what they say, and it will show up in their results. It will show up in their results. True. So if you know you have this job and you know it's what you have for now, gratitude is a good place to start. It's another segment of mindfulness, because when you come from a grateful place, you work at it like I'm privileged. Yeah. The other thing quickly, what would be if it was 1B of the gratitude and mindfulness, which goes in tandem with the tongue. We say things like, I have to go to work. I have to submit this report. I have to do this analysis. How about you start with speech that empowers you? Psychologists have proven that how you say things also affects you. How about I get to sit in this office? You see the difference?
Yeah.
I have to do work. I get to do this job, meaning I am lucky to have this job, or it's a privilege, and I'm choosing to serve in this capacity. I get to raise these children.
Not I
have to feed these children.
No.
Have to is dutiful, it's stoic, it's draining. I get to do this. So that is the mindfulness in speech, in thought, and then it follows through our action. And
it still goes back to the Bible.
Everything is all about reinforcing positive energies.
Yeah. The Bible says, out of the heart's fullness,
the mouth speaketh.
The mouth speaketh. So, what I remember they used to tell us that you've got to preach, not to yourself. I'm borrowing the word. I'm failing to get the other word. Where you say what you prophesy on yourself is what will manifest. Yeah, I think I forgot.
We could use that approach. We could also go for the psychology one. Affirmation does something to you and your system. I will just tell listeners, because you said I'm an FLI alumni, just to give them a glimpse.
Yeah.
Because of our mindset and wiring, it's even very easy to lose track of everything you have known, to doubt your own truth. And that is where mindfulness comes to speak. When I went to the FLI class, actually, I didn't know I was signing up until I got to class. I came, where they invite you for the lunch to see if this will be a good fit before you start the class. I think you were there.
I was there.
Yes. And the first trick, which I now call most important trick, is they ask you to define yourself, or to not just to introduce yourself.
Define who you are.
Yes. So I come into this class and I had my plan well laid out. Oh, this is a new space. I want to come as a nobody and just be. But this is a leadership course.
Yeah.
So the facilitator and the people of the day ask us to define ourselves, so to speak. And then tactfully, again, I make sure I'm the last one to speak.
Oh, this
so I'm playing my tactic. You are the one asking us to do it. Yes. So everybody goes, I'm so and so, I'm so and so, and so and so. I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. I don't know if you remember, that was class 1 or class 0, because that was like the meet and greet for the class.
Yes.
I defined myself as the leader without title.
I don't think I remember.
Well, I did, and it was just my cover story of I don't want to be found. But that was a statement to say, I don't know who I am. So how is FLI going to bring out my treasure if I am still hiding behind vagueness? That is why we're talking about the power of tongue and speech and affirmations. Yes. So me coming to that class by way of testimony, I started owning who I am as a leader. And look where we are. It's hardly a year, because that class was in August. Not forgetting that all my life I have been known as a leader. Anyone who knows me, I'm synonymous with leadership. But life happens. When life happens to you, you start to doubt even the thing. It's like telling. Yes. So the mindfulness is you remembering who you are.
And maybe for the sake of our listeners and our viewers, I think you ought to understand what mindfulness is all about. You might be thinking it's
too much English.
It's too much English, but it's not. It just combines elements of consciousness. You're aware, you're consciously aware and focused on the present moment with effective productivity strategies. Okay, now I think I'm complete.
You've started the English.
Yeah, I was trying to bring it out. But you're conscious, you're aware of yourself in the moment. You're like, okay, so I'm here and I need to get to there. What do I need in
this moment?
If I need in the long term, if I want to also focus on the long term, maybe shift from there to the other. But it's in that moment. You've got to be self-aware of, okay, so I am say an officer A and I do A, B, C, D, but I think I want to be maybe a manager. What do I need in there? Do I need do I need to be, improve on myself? How do I improve on myself? Do I need to go to class? Do I need to do it? It's all about focusing on who you are. I'm not saying people, misunderstand self-awareness and focusing on self to be selfish and other things. But you're being intentional about your life. And these things we learn late in our year as we grow up. In the 20s, you're basically enjoying your life. And then 30 hits you and you're like, wait, I set out to be married by 25, masters by 20.
No, I'm 35.
No, I'm 35.
No masters, no marriage.
Masters, no marriage, no children, nothing. You get. So we're looking at the intentionality of your whys. Come up with your whys, perfect. But what, are you just following the trend? Can you calm down a little bit? Introspection.
To that point,
yes.
Time is fast running. I just want us to remember we have all the resources we need. I think there's such a thing as getting stuck in acquiring knowledge. We are guilty in this era of podcasts, YouTube. We are just amassing knowledge. In fact, sometimes we need to get to a point where you say, I have all the knowledge and the skills I have. I need to just start. I'm guilty as charged. You can get stuck in the acquisition so much so that you do nothing about it. So I just want to make it a bit to say it for the people at the back. You have all the knowledge and the info you need. You have the networks to start. You probably don't have all the finances, but you have the 1, 2, 3 to start. So the mindfulness, again, of knowing I have. Look at what you have. The mentality of the glass is half full, not half empty.
Not half empty.
Yes.
It's the glass is half
full.
Not empty. Not half empty. Appreciate the little that is on ground. Start with that. You never know what more is coming your way. And like Nanza said, time is fast spent. But as we wind up, Nanza, as we dive, actually, we are diving into this year. I keep telling my people around me, we are diving into this year. But if we're diving in with mindfulness, what do I keep at the mind of my mind? What do I keep at the mind of my mindfulness?
Yes, your mindfulness is your authentic self. Don't waste energy and time trying to be very many things. First of all, newsflash, people don't really care. Everybody has their lot. So even the people you're trying to impress, I have learned the hard way, don't care.
They don't care.
2, get the priorities for the season. We are hung up on priorities being, it's not a permanent slot. So have the realness to sit with your priorities and look at them squarely.
Yes.
I have a sister. Again, I'm blessed to have sister. This is another sister.
Okay.
One day we are talking things and she says, I'm going to do ABC because I'm hosting guests and I'll do it this way, and I'll do the grocery shopping and what. And then I speak to her around 5 o'clock. It's like, I run towards Christmas. The traffic jam is so bad. I can't get to the place where I hope to get this. So in the real fixer mode, I say, well, if you're in corner A, the nearest supermarket is this.
Oh, by the way, Madame is Madame Fixer. She's very quick at fixing things.
Especially when it comes to food. So I'm like, hey, that thing, you just have to go and do it. Like the nearest supermarket, I mentioned the name and told her, just turn left, turn right, and then I call back 15 minutes. Again, me, fixer, control. I'm asking her, so have you got this? Have you got this? Like, no, I'm still seated in the parking lot, stuck.
And you, I'm sure you jump.
And I'm like, she's like, one, if I have to shop in this place, then the shopping list differs from what I had. And in my head, I'm like, for Christ's sake, onions are onions. But the mindfulness, what I learned is for her to function. She knows that she cannot have a short last-minute change of plans. It makes her dysfunctional. Meaning she says, I'm not you.
Exactly.
I need to sit in this car, reorganize my brain.
By the way, that's me. I don't.
Yes, and so the mindfulness, if she had gone in with Nanza's speed, maybe she would have spent more money than planned or forgotten something. So she took her 2 hours after all this traffic jam. So sat in the car, reorganized her brain. Well, if I was next to her, I'd be saying, tomatoes are tomatoes, Royco is Royco. So the mindfulness is, they say the mastery of self is better than conquering the world. She knew herself.
Yes.
She's like, a change of plan takes me completely off. So I need to sit and recenter. So those little pockets of knowing yourself.
Yes.
And somehow communicating them, because man is not an island.
Absolutely.
If she sat in her car and just switched off her phone, yet she's expecting me to support in that role, I would say maybe she doesn't care, maybe she's got another help. So find a way to let, especially your teammates, that guys, you know what? When I'm hungry, please let me go for lunch. When I come back, I'll be more productive. I know a friend, again, I think I'm just a lover of people. Yes, she's a doctor.
Important.
She's a doctor, and in her early years, she used to get reviews for the most hardworking ones. She was very junior at that time in one of the very fragile hospital departments, which requires people to be fast and furious because this is life.
Yeah.
And she used to get reviews and praises of being the best doctor. Okay, good reviews in the department, employee of the month, employee of the year. And I'm like, this one never works the way we work. And then she told me, so at some point one of the bosses was leaving and I attended their party and they were saying, and he was giving remarks about the team. I was like, this particular employee works from a position of rest. If you want the best of her, let me call her lean, let her take her nap. If it is 3, let her sleep. But when she wakes up,
You know, she's
she
going to
is
put in the
going to work and give you the best results the next day. So don't be hung up on schedules. The mindfulness,
Yeah.
whether you're a leader or you're an employee. And the problem with being a leader, or the good thing with being a leader, you get to choose the terms. And this is where we have to be, again, mindful. Don't be the one who tells people, me at 5, I'm out of here.
No.
Find the person to whom you report, explain to them. Say, I tell you, I have to pick my kids. At this stage in your life, it matters that I pick them from school. But trust me, if office is open at 8, I will give this extra hour. Tomorrow I will be here 7 in the morning to make up. And when you say it, mean it.
Mean it.
People will see you leaving at 4:45 and they won't be rolling their eyes because they know when Nanza leaves at 4:45, she'll be the first in the office. And if the report is for 8, it will be there. So that's where the integrity comes in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nanza, I wish we could continue with this conversation. I mean, I got carried away as we come to the closure of this conversation. Very interesting. Many things I take home include us being focused. Yes, there's that. They say take breaks. Stay physically active and nurture your mental well-being, and these are integral aspects of being productive, and mindfully so at that. So in your whys, please, can you reset? It's not too late. Go back, sit down, look at your whys. Where is my mindful productivity in the whys? Where is my intentionality in the whys? And am I really setting realistic whys for myself this year? I think those are some of the key issues you need to focus on. And then realize that you cannot do it all. And it's not written anywhere that you've got to sacrifice yourself because you've got to be super somebody or super somebody. You've got to realize that it is you. You have the time, by the way, you have the resources, and you have the talent, okay, to do all that. So find a way, find a balance. Thank you, Nanza.
Thank you, Lynn, for having me. Thank you for our talks.
Very insightful, and definitely reminding you that we'll be carrying out our FAT fellowship, FAT Leadership Fellowship that is, by the way, displayed on the screen. We are calling for applications. We start in February. So please apply today. Go to our website and be part. Nanza is a FAT fellow. I am a FAT fellow. And so really, guys, you are missing out. You have no idea. And also reminding you, next week, we have one of the best events. I can't wait to see your children. We have children, we have teams leadership training that is targeting ages 14 to 17. We are empowering tomorrow's leaders today, and that is going to happen on 18th, I beg your pardon. We also have the children's leadership training that is also happening the same day. So we are looking at 7 to 13. We have those groupings. Please, please, please reach out to Fidelis Leadership Institute. We are on our on all social media platforms. Go to our website, find out how you can be part of this and how your children can be part of this. Otherwise, wish you the very best. My name is Lynn Komjisha. We'll catch you again next time on Thursday, 4 p.m. Fast Talks again. More interesting conversations this year. And we're being focused. We're being mindful about what we do, how we do it, and where that leads us. See you soon.